All right, time to dive into the world of TMNT legends. We're talking character guides, tips, strategies, you name it. You've brought some seriously impressive analysis from F-TV.
Oh yeah, F-TV knows their stuff. They go way deeper than just saying, this character's good, this one's not. They break down the why, the how, the stats, the abilities, everything.
Which is exactly what we need. I mean, anyone can look at a tier list, right? But understanding WHY a character like, say, LARP Leo is so dominant, that's where the real strategy comes in.
Oh, absolutely. It's one thing to know this character hits hard, but F- gives you that extra layer of insight that can really make a difference in your game.
Okay, so let's talk strategy then. Everyone wants to know about those must-have characters, the meta heroes that are always at the top of the tier list. Where do we even begin?
Well, you can't talk about top tier without mentioning LRRP Leo. I mean, he's a tank, right? His whole deal is soaking up damage, protecting his team.
Right, the classic take one for the team kind of guy.
Exactly. But what makes LRP Leo next level is how offensively capable he is. He's not just a defensive wall. He can dish out the pain, too.
Okay, so he's not just a big turtle shield. I'm intrigued. What makes him so, as the kids say, busted?
It's all in the kit.
Yeah.
Take his basic attack, Knights Out. It's got a chance to lower enemy defense, which is already great, right?
Sure, weakening the enemy, always a good strategy.
But get this. Against tech characters, it's guaranteed. So he's ripping through defenses before he even gets to his special abilities.
Wait, hold on. Guaranteed defense down on a tank? That seems a little unfair.
And it gets better. His Flame Tongue ability.
Okay.
That's where things get really wild. So first of all, it's an AoE, which stands for Area of Effect, meaning it hits multiple enemies.
Okay, already good for crowd control.
Right. But on top of that, it has a chance to grant LARP, Leo, an assist attack. So now he's hitting multiple enemies and potentially getting another turn right away. It's Combo City.
This is sounding less like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle and more like a Teenage Mutant Ninja walking highlight reel.
Right, and we haven't even touched on his other abilities like Universal Mastery, which is a 3-turn taunt that also increases his attack power. Did I mention he also has a passive that boosts his dodge chance?
So not only do you have to hit him, but you might not even be able to, and then he hits you harder just for trying. Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal here.
LRP Leo is the definition of a character who controls the entire battlefield.
Max this guy out, ASAP, got it. Okay, so we've got our tank. Who needs a damage dealer?
When it comes to raw damage output, you really can't go wrong with Baxter.
Baxter. Now there's a villain I love to hate.
Another area damage specialist, Baxter boasts the highest base attack in the game, and that's before you even factor in his attack power increasing abilities, and his passive.
Wait, so he's already hitting like a runaway train, but then he gets even stronger? That's terrifying.
The trade-off is that his two main AoE attacks, Swarm of Doom and Wave of Doom, both have 4-turn cooldowns. That's a long time to wait, especially in a fast-paced game like this.
True, but with a defense down basic, a damage over time AoE, that's DOT by the way, damage over time, for our listeners who haven't quite memorized every acronym yet, and a single target attack that removes buffs, you might not even need those extra turns.
He's a definite glass cannon, but when he hits hard.
He's a powerhouse, got it. Okay, so we've got LRP Leo tanking, we've got Baxter dishing out the pain. Who else is in this dream team?
We need someone who can both take a hit and dish it out right back.
Wow.
Someone like, say, Nick Raphael.
Ah, Nick Raphael, the king of counterattacks. I've seen him single-handedly dismantle teams. What makes him so formidable?
It's the synergy between his abilities. His basic attack has a chance to raise his defense, so he's getting tankier with every hit. Then there's his taunt, which not only protects his team, but it also increases his critical hit rate.
So not only are you less likely to hit anyone BAT Nick, but when you duo, there's a good chance it's gonna really hurt. That's just cruel.
And to top it all off, his final ability inflicts damage over time. We're talking about a character that can solo teams if you build him right. Oh, and did I mention his counterattacks aren't limited to when he's actually hit?
Yeah.
Even if he has armor or dodges, he'll still retaliate.
It's like he's saying, if you even think about attacking me, you're gonna regret it. Okay, I am thoroughly convinced Nick Raphael is terrifying, but every good team needs a leader. Who's our front man?
For a well-rounded powerhouse, you can't go wrong with Nick Leonardo.
Wait, Nick Leonardo, the katana-wielding blue mask brawler. He's a support character.
Don't let those katanas fool ya. He's got a heart of gold. And an ability called Key Focus, which is a straight-up team heal. And not a small one either. He can heal the entire team for a significant chunk of their health.
Wow, talk about hidden talents. So he's got the damage, he's got the healing. This is blowing my mind.
And let's not forget his special attack, sharp and dangerous, which, let's just say, makes his attack power even more ridiculous. He's a versatile character who can handle just about anything you throw at him.
He's the total package. Speaking of which, there's another crucial role we need to fill: support. No team is complete without a dedicated healer, and I feel like this is where some of the less obvious picks can really shine. Where do we even begin?
When it comes to keeping your team alive, LRRP Donatello is in a league of his own.
LRP Donatello. Now, this isn't our tech-savvy Donatello, right? This is a different flavor of Donnie.
Okay. Absolutely. This is Donatello in his element, embracing the magic and wonder of, well, pizza, mostly.
Pizza.
His signature move. Conjure pizza.
Okay, that's adorable, but I'm guessing it does more than just summon a delicious snack.
You bet. It heals the entire team for a significant amount. A&D removes damage over time effects.
Okay, now that is some serious support. He sounds like the best kind of pizza delivery guy.
But wait, there's more. His AoE, Flaming Fireball, inflicts damage over time on enemies. He can dish it out, and they take it. On top of that, he has a passive that increases his defense, and another ability, Magic Shield, that raises the entire team's defense. This LRP Donatello, he's making me hungry, and he's making me feel safe.
He really is the complete package, an essential member of any team. But while we're on the subject of support characters, we absolutely have to discuss the poster child for dependability, Nick Donatello. Wick Donatello. Now, he's not exactly known for being a heavy hitter, is he?
He's not going to be winning any damage per second awards, that's for sure. Nick Donatello is all about defense. The immovable object to everyone else's unstoppable force.
So he's the guy you want on your side when things get rough. Give me the lowdown on his kit.
It's all about his signature ability, Shield Synthesizer. This baby increases the entire team's defense for a whopping 5 turns.
5 turns? That's practically a whole nother game.
It makes a huge difference, especially when you're facing off against those high-level enemies that can wipe out your team in a few hits.
Right, when you just need to weather the storm.
And his basic attack, Bow Staff Block, even have a chance to heal him, making him even more durable.
He's the kind of reliable support you don't think you need until you really need him. Okay, I'm sold on our turtle power. But every good team needs a wild card. Who's a character that surprised you with their strength?
Movie Bebop. Don't let the looks fool you, this guy is secretly a beast.
Movie Bebop. Really, I'll admit I've been guilty of overlooking him in the past. What makes him so formidable?
It's all about those self-buffs. His basic attack, Airdrop, has a chance to raise his dodge.
Okay, now that's just not fair. What else can he do?
His single target attack, it's Bebop, has a chance to increase his defense for 3 turns. Defense up on attack that's almost unheard of. It's this combination of offense and defense that makes him so powerful.
So not only is he hitting like a truck, he's also making himself incredibly difficult to take down. I'm starting to feel bad for anyone who goes up against Movie Bebop.
Don't beat yourself up too much.
Yeah.
It's easy to overlook him, but once you see him in action, you understand why he's a fan favorite.
He sounds like the real deal. Okay, so we've got our tank, our damage dealers, our support, A&D, our wild card. Who else is vying for a spot on this already stacked team?
You know, we've been talking about these powerhouse characters, the ones everyone's always clamoring for, the top tier picks.
The heavy hitters.
Exactly. But some of the most interesting strategies come from those unexpected places, right?
Oh, absolutely. Those hidden gems. The characters nobody expects, but they come out swinging and steal the show. Who fits that bill in TMNT Legends?
Let's talk about Nick Casey Jones.
Casey Jones! Now there's a character with heart?
He's often compared to spider bites, since they're both inflictors, meaning their strength comes from inflicting negative effects on enemies.
Right, like weakening their attacks, slowing them down, those kind of debuffs, right?
Exactly. And F- makes a really compelling case for Nick Casey Jones as potentially even better than spider bites.
Oh, wow. Okay, gotta hear this. What makes Nick Casey Jones so good?
Well, for starters, he's got the damage output of a heavy hitter, but on top of that, he can inflict a world of hurt with his debuffs.
So he's hitting you A&D, making you weaker at the same time? Double whammy?
It's brutal. His basic attack, High Sticking, has a chance to raise his own speed, which is huge GE for an inflictor. The faster he is, the more debuffs he can land, the quicker he can turn the tide of battle.
Love that. Speed kills.
And then his abilities, Goongala, lowers enemy speed, and Graffiti Grenade reduces their accuracy. It's basically like giving your whole team a free dodge boost.
Whoa, hold on. That's brilliant. He's not just weakening their attacks, he's making your whole team harder to hit.
And to top it all off, his final ability, Slapshot.
Yeah.
Damage over time.
So let me get this straight. He's got speed, he can shut down the enemy team with debuffs, and he can inflict damage over time. This isn't your average vigilante.
Nick Casey Jones is the real deal. Don't let that hockey mask fool you.
Strategic mastermind in disguise. I love it. Speaking of surprising picks, what about Justin? He's not the first name that comes to mind when I think powerhouse.
Justin. He's a fascinating case, a bit of a mixed bag. In the right hands, though. Game changer.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What am I missing with Justin?
He's got this really unique combination of abilities. His basic attack, tentacle thingies.
Tentacle thingies.
Yeah, I know, right? But it has a chance to dispel negative effects from allies, which is huge EE for team support.
So not quite a healer, but he can cleanse debuffs. That's incredibly useful.
Right. But it gets better. One of his AoE attacks, Bad Breath,
Bad breath. Okay, the names aren't getting any better.
can lower enemy defense for 3 turns. And here's the kicker, at tier 7, it has no cooldown.
Yeah, no cooldown. You're telling me I can use that every single round?
You got it. It can be absolutely game-breaking, especially against tanky enemies.
He's like a reverse inflictor. He can dish out the debuffs, but he can also protect his team from them. That's incredible versatility.
Exactly. He requires a bit of investment to reach his full potential, but the payoff is there.
He's a late bloomer. Starts slow, but when he hits his stride, watch out. Okay, Justin's going on the list. Who else we got?
Classic Bebop.
Classic Bebop. Now, he doesn't exactly scream top-tier threat.
You'd be surprised. He often gets overshadowed by his other versions, but this guy, tricks up his sleeve.
All right, convince me. What makes him worth a second look?
His claim to fame is his basic attack, the Mighty Hog, which has a chance to completely drain an enemy's focus meter.
Whoa, wait a minute. That's insane, especially in those close battles where every turn counts.
Right. He can really disrupt the flow of the enemy team. And his single target attack, backfired, has a 90% chance to stun for a turn.
So not only can he prevent abilities from being used, but he can also stop attacks from happening in the first place. Classic Bebop is a control master.
Exactly. And if that wasn't enough, his team buff, this is going to be good, grants immunity and D, has a chance to apply both heal over time and D call and assist.
Okay, this is blowing my mind. He can control the enemy team, buff his allies, AND heal. Classic Bebop is the support we didn't know we needed.
He's a fantastic example of a character that, at first glance, you might be like, whatever. But when you dig deeper, a lot to offer.
I'm starting to think there are no bad characters in this game, just underappreciated ones.
That's a great way to look at it. Speaking of underappreciated, we got to talk about Bunny Rocksteady. He does not get the love he deserves.
Bunny Rocksteady. I haven't given him much thought, I'll be honest.
He might even be bitter than his partner in crime, Bunny Bebop.
Wait, seriously, Bunny Bebop is an incredible healer. What makes Bunny Rocksteady better?
His damage output. For starters, his basic attack, Bulldozer Bunny, has a chance to inflict damage over time.
Okay, damage over time is always nice, especially on a heavy hitter.
Right, but then, on top of that, he has 2 AoE attacks. Super Soaked has a chance to inflict heal block, and the Yokes on Pro, you can dispel positive effects, A and D lower enemy speed.
Hold on, 2 AoEs on a heavy hitter, that's almost unheard of.
Makes him incredibly versatile. And don't forget about his passive, Un-FU Gettable, which has a chance to grant him counterattack.
So he's got damage over time, heal block, speed down, AD counterattack. This bunny means business.
A force to be reckoned with.
I'm starting to think we need to start a Justice for Bunny Rocksteady campaign.
I'm in. It's amazing how many hidden gems there are in this game. Speaking of, we got to give some love to Classic Rocksteady too, another one who flies under the radar.
What makes Classic Rocksteady stand out?
Well, for one, his basic attack, Horn in Your Side, has a chance to lower enemy speed.
Always a good thing.
Right. But then his AoE, Hot Potato, chance to inflict both damage over time, A and D buff block. He can really cripple the enemy team.
So he's shutting down their health and their abilities. Brutal.
And his final ability, Nosedive, is a single target attack that really packs a punch, significantly increasing his attack power.
So he can control the battlefield, weaken the enemy team, and he hit like a truck. I'm sold. Classic Rocksteady might not be flashy, but he gets the job done.
Exactly. He might not be the first name on everyone's team sheet, but solid choice for any roster.
He's proof that sometimes the best characters are the ones you least expect. Speaking of unexpected powerhouses, what about Dog Pound? He's a classic TMNT villain, but does he hold up in Legends?
Dog Pound is one of those characters that doesn't get a lot of hype, but he is quietly one of the best tanks in the game.
Okay, I'll buy it. What makes Dog Pound such a great tank?
His stats are amazing. For starters, his basic attack, Mighty Punch, has a chance to lower enemy defense.
Yeah, sure. Always a good thing.
But we're not talking about a small amount here. We're talking Nick Raphael levels of power.
Get out! He hits that hard.
Oh, yeah. And then his taunt, Beware of Dog, not only protects his team, but also inflicts attack down on enemies.
So he can take the hits and make the enemy team weaker. That's the dream.
Exactly. He's got 2 incredibly strong single-target attacks off the leash and shoulder tackle that can really pack a punch. Plus, his passive, Top Dog, has a chance to increase his defense even further.
He's a brick wall. I underestimated Dog Pound.
A tank's tank. He might not be the flashiest, but he's reliable, durable, and he can definitely bring the pain.
I'm starting to think we need a whole separate tier list for most improved characters.
I like it. Speaking of characters who deserve a second look, let's talk about Hun. He might seem a little goofy.
A little. He's the definition of goofy.
Fair enough, but don't let that fool you. He is deceptively powerful. For one thing, he's one of, if not the fastest character in the game.
And we all know speed is king.
Exactly. But here's where it gets interesting. His AoE attack, Hypnotic Hands, inflicts both defense down and D-attack down on enemies.
Wait, both debuffs at 1C? That's insane.
It's a devastating combination. He can completely cripple the enemy team before they even get a chance to attack.
I'm starting to see why you said he's often underestimated. He sounds like a nightmare to go up against.
He is. And let's not forget about his basic attack, 100-foot kick, which has a chance to trigger a counterattack, making him even more dangerous to attack.
So he's fast, he's strong, he can weaken the entire enemy team. A&D, he can turn the tables on his attackers. Hun's got it all.
Hun is a fantastic example of a character that rewards strategic play. If you take the time to learn his kit and how to use his speed to your advantage, he can be a real game changer.
I'm definitely going to give him another look. Okay, we've talked about some unexpected heroes, but surely there are some characters who just don't make the cut, right? You know, we've covered a lot of ground here talking about those powerhouse characters, the ones everyone wants on their team, always. But let's not forget about the characters who maybe aren't superstars in every battle, but in the right situation, they become absolutely essential.
Oh, for sure, the specialists.
Yeah.
These characters might not be the first ones you max out, but they're worth having on your roster for those niche situations where their unique abilities can really shine.
I'm all about those niche picks. Give me some examples. What kind of specialists are we talking about, and when do they really come in handy?
Let's talk about the Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet.
For those who haven't braved its challenges, the Gauntlet is a grueling series of multi-wave battles that can really test your team's strength and endurance.
It's a gauntlet in every sense of the word.
Exactly. And that's where someone like Stockman Fly really proves his worth.
Stockman Fly? You mean the half-man, half-fly, mad scientist? Okay, I'm listening.
So he's not going to top any tier lists for healers, but his Miracle Cure ability heals for a solid 45% of the team's max HP A&D. It has a chance to dispel negative effects. In a long gauntlet run where your team is constantly bombarded with debuffs, that ability is huge E.
So he's not just patching them up, he's removing those nasty status effects that can really mess up your strategy. I see where you're going with this.
And don't forget his basic attack, Buzzkill, which has a chance to increase his dodge. That might not seem like much, but in the gauntlet, where every little bit of survivability counts, makes a difference.
So he can heal, he can remove debuffs, A&D, he makes himself harder to hit. Stockman Fly is the Gauntlet MVP.
He's definitely a top contender. And while we're talking about the Gauntlet, can't forget about Ice Cream Kitty.
Ice Cream Kitty, a fan favorite for a reason. Adorable A&D deadly.
Right. Her 60% heal is one of the best in the game, which, in those long, grueling gauntlet battles, lifesaver.
And her stun ability, Brain Freeze, can be a real game changer in those tight spots.
Exactly. She's got it all.
She does. Okay, I'm sold on our gauntlet specialists. Who else deserves a spot on our situational roster?
If you're looking for a rock-solid tank, I mean, someone who can just hold the line against anything, Dog Pound is your guy.
Dog Pound. I have a real soft spot for that big softie. What makes him such a good pick?
He's not flashy, but he's reliable. He's durable. His taunt, Beware of Dog, is just incredibly effective at drawing enemy fire and protecting his team.
So he's the kind of tank who just stands there and says, "Come at me, bro." I respect that.
Exactly. He might not have the raw damage output of some of the other tanks, but when you need someone to just stand their ground and take the hits, Dog Pound is there for you.
I love that. A true team player. Who else should we have on speed dial for those special situations?
If you need a character who can inflict a ton of debuffs and really disrupt the enemy team's flow, Hun is your guy.
Hun. Now there's a character I never thought I'd be calling a specialist.
Don't let his goofy exterior fool you. Hun can be a real menace in the right situation. He's one of, if not the fastest character in the game.
Right. And we know speed is king.
And his AoE attack, Hypnotic Hands, can inflict both defense down and E attack down on the entire enemy team.
He can completely cripple them before they even get a chance to move.
He's a fantastic character for controlling the pace of battle and keeping the enemy team off balance. He might not be the tankiest character, so you'll want to protect him, but use strategically. He can really swing things in your favor.
Hun, the secret weapon. I love it.
And that's what's so great about TMNT Legends. There's so much depth to the roster. Every character has the potential to shine. You just got to know how to use them.
I have learned so much today. I feel like I have a whole new appreciation for the strategy and the depth of this game.
And that's what we love to hear. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the must-have meta heroes to the hidden gems, the situational specialists, but the most important thing, experiment. Find what works for you. Have fun with it.
Couldn't agree more. It's all about experimenting, finding those killer team synergies, and crushing your enemies with style.
And remember, the meta is constantly evolving. New characters are added, old characters get buffed and nerfed, new strategies emerge. What's considered top tier today might be middle of the pack tomorrow.
That's what keeps it exciting. There's always something new to discover. But hey, I want to hear from you, our listeners. What are your favorite team compositions? What unexpected synergies have you discovered? What characters do you think are underrated?
Share your insights, your strategies, your love for all things TMNT Legends.
Until next time, keep training, keep fighting, and keep those shells shiny.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga.